Hey everyone, welcome back to the old family farm. Hey, thanks for joining me this lovely Thursday. Hope your week has gone well. So before we get into hot and heavy, as they say in the biz, into farming, I wanted to show this thing off here. So Tin Man, one of my subscribers, frequent commenter, him and I have had a few conversations. Mentioned last time I said, wouldn't it be nice to have something that you could connect to my mower so that we can then connect a windrower and just do it all in one foul swoop if any of my tractors will horsepower that, but that's kind of beside the point. So he pointed out this mod right here. Actually, pretty cool mod, to be honest with you. Trailed lifter. It's a lizard trailed lifter. Quite like it. Looks pretty fancy. And I was like, okay, yeah, I got to check this thing out. One problem, though, I ran into. I can't get it to connect to the mower. Now, doesn't make it a bad mod at all. In fact, I'm definitely going to keep this mod in mind for future things. But it does kind of show how, even when you think things should definitely connect, like literally in real life, we could take, and I would think connect those two things, you know, get like a pipe and stick it in there and clamp, or what do they call those things, cotter pin. I don't know, it seems pretty easy. But when you're dealing with mods, you don't always get easy, which is unfortunate because this would have been at least kind of fun to try. But I did want to show this mod off because it is pretty sweet. It definitely is pretty sweet. I did test it. In fact, I've got super strength on here, but I did test this part of it, and that worked just fine. It'll pick this, 3-point up, no problem. But getting that connected, unfortunately, is a bit of a problem. And maybe that's not what it's really designed for. Maybe it's more designed for like a tractor that doesn't have a 3-point on the back, and maybe you can use this to get a 3-point. Too bad though. It's a shame that that doesn't work. But I did want to show that off before we really get into what we got to get into today. Sad news on the farm, by the way, and we'll get into that as well. And you probably know by now, any news on the farm generally has to do with a young man named Tiny or his sister, Betty Lou. But let's go ahead and sell this thing. And what are we going to get for it? $6,600. So we'll sell it. And then I will go ahead and remove that 6,600. That should bring us back to 7,315, which it does. We don't want any cheating here in the old family farm. I'm going to go ahead and just set this thing off to the side. We can deal with this thing later. She'll be okay there. I'm also going to turn off super strength. That gets me in trouble once in a while. So I just wanted to show that. I thought that was kind of an interesting mod. Just unfortunate it didn't quite work out in this situation. But so while you've been gone and while I've been working, actually I forgot to do this area right here. That's a bummer. I actually windrowed all of our cutting that we did. Well, I thought all of it except for this here. Did that last Sunday when I was listening to my Chicago Bears lose again. So that was fun. Listening to it on the radio. I couldn't get the game live, so I just listened to the radio broadcast. Not a bad game, just, I've kind of gotten to that point of disappointment and whatnot. So what are you going to do, right? Let's go ahead and get rid of that thing. I'm actually going to jump out here. Yeah, I'm going to cheat again. And we'll turn on some super strength if this thing kind of lined up well enough. But like they say, they're rebuilding. They've been rebuilding since 1987. And I won't say much more on that other than the sad state that I am in with my beloved Chicago Bears is that I have the entire 1985-86 season, You know, the one that they went to the Super Bowl, crushed New England, had a team that was just unstoppable, except by one team, Miami Dolphins. I've never forgiven them for giving the Bears that one defeat. Other than that, though, I had that full season that I watched. I just watched those old games just to feel better. Just to feel better. But I've got a backup team that I kind of cheer for, and I've got another team that I love to see lose, and they've been losing this year, so I've been pretty happy with that. So yeah, I got some stuff done here on the farm. I'm actually getting, man, I probably shouldn't even say this. I was going to say I've actually gotten, I think, a little bit better with this windrower. Just gotten kind of used to it. It's not bad, you know. It doesn't cover a lot of ground or anything, but once you kind of get used to it, it seems to do the job okay. I'd still prefer a windrower that, you know, it's more like a V, you know, kind of takes care of both sides at the same time instead of having to do it that way. But this thing seems to, it does okay. It does okay. So what else has been happening on the farm? Yeah, well, last time we talked, there was good news on the farm. Actually, I don't know if it was good news as much as just kind of big news. That Tiny had found the love of his life, evidently. He decided to wed his beautiful bride of, really don't know how long they were engaged, but his kindergarten teacher. That was kind of, I was going to say kind of odd, but for these parts, it's hard to say. But needless to say, you know, if Tiny's happy, we're all happy. And honestly, what was brilliant about that whole thing was Tiny was in a great mood. I mean, he would come over and offer to help us on the farm. He was like, he wasn't living in the woods. I think he bathed regularly. There were all kinds of crazy things going on with him that were just, you know, super, really, really nice from a social standpoint. I'm going to pick this bucket up a little bit. It'll be my luck I start scooping up grass. I guess that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but... So yeah, we were all excited for him. It was in the Daily Herald. Yep, there is an actual newspaper here on Old Family Farm. The OFF Daily Herald. They were talking about how big of a wedding it was going to be. It was going to be held down at the cow auction facility, I guess you would call it. Clarabelle, obviously known for her prowess in raising cows. I think that was probably her choice. Tiny didn't seem to have a problem with it. It was all going well. Betty Lou had ordered all the floral arrangements, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was hot and heavy. You know, I mean, it was a buzz. The town was a buzz. Then, one day, Tiny didn't stop by. I didn't see Tiny. And I didn't think, well, maybe he's just, you know, maybe he's out trying to hunt down a suit or something like that for the wedding. Maybe he's, you know, making final preparations. Whatever. But then 2 days went by and there was no Tiny. And I thought, man, this is not good. You know. Because even when he ties one on, I still see him almost every day. You know. I'll see him regardless. But didn't see him. So I had to go down to the old hay and feed, see Betty Lou anyways. and decided, you know what, I'm going to try and get the scoop. You know, it's a well-known fact. You don't ask questions of the Smalls. You don't get involved in their family business. But I couldn't help myself. Could not help myself. And yeah, sad news, really. So it turns out, and I don't know if any of you are aware of this, or if you've heard of this before. Man, got some air off the John Deere with that one. But it used to be that you would take blood tests. You'd apply for your marriage license, and you would, in the process of applying for a marriage license, you'd have to take a blood test. Well, evidently, that didn't go so well. And I didn't ask beyond that, other than the wedding was off due to the blood test, results of the blood test. Now, I'll let you all draw your own conclusions. If you're not familiar with wedding blood tests, I'll just let you Google those and get your own information out on that. Boy, it's sad though, really. And I have a couple theories on it, but I don't want to speculate publicly on what happened there. So evidently there was a failure in the blood tests. They came back and found an issue, and sadly the wedding is off. Clarabelle has been seen around town wearing black, her mourning attire. I'm not sure if that's appropriate for a wedding that gets canceled. I think that's when somebody dies. But that's Clarabelle's prerogative, I guess. She is in mourning. I did speak with her briefly. She said that she has not spoken to Tiny since the blood tests were returned, but does believe that that he's okay. He's just probably up in the hills somewhere, in solitude, dealing with this sad news his own way, the Tiny way, which usually means a bottle of Jim Beam and some moonshine. I don't know. I really don't know how Tiny handles bad news. It used to be if Tiny got some bad news, well, he'd just tie one on and start shooting things up, you know. You'd hear, you know, gunshot in the middle of the night. Just stay inside, you know, and you were fine, you know. He tried to only shoot at houses that were either empty or barns or something like that. So, but we haven't heard anything from Tiny. We haven't heard any shooting. We haven't heard anything. So there is some cause for concern, but we think he's okay. Betty Lou was seen leaving the store with some supplies, so we think she probably knows where Tiny is, and she's probably taking food, canned goods to him to take care of him and whatnot. But a sad state, really, because it was really it was going to be probably one of the biggest events around these parts in many years, and really, you know, the rebirth, so to speak, I guess you could say, of Tiny. Clarabelle seemed to really make a new man out of him. So we'll have to wait and see what comes of this. Clarabelle seems, like I said, she's in a state of mourning, but I think she'll be okay. The papers simply reported, wedding canceled, don't ask. That was the headline. Wedding canceled, don't ask. So, sad, really. Very, very sad. Very sad. Sad state, no doubt. Well, that was kind of sad, too. Wait, did I just pick that? Oh, okay. So I guess what we're gonna, what we're gonna work on here is just getting this grass picked up. Yeah, I figure this is probably all we really have going on at the moment around the farm is grass collection. Let me do a little manual shifting. Maybe I manually shifted the wrong way. There we go. She's picking up the pace now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with all this. I personally didn't think they would make it this far. If I'm being honest, I was expecting some kind of a my biggest thing was, you know at weddings when they ask, the preacher says, if anyone objects, may they speak now or forever hold their peace. Well, I kind of felt like that's where things were going to fall apart, and there was going to be somebody in the crowd that was going to say something, like, I love Tiny, you can't have him, or hey Tiny, don't you realize that's your mom's sister? Something along those lines was going to happen. But it really looked like this was going to legitimately take place, and like I said, excitement was brewing around the old family farm. It's just a shame, just an absolute travesty, really. Yeah, just a shame. I was trying to think. If I had to, years ago when I wed, I don't remember how long ago that was that they put the kibosh on blood tests. I'll have to Google that. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, we have to, like I said, we have to keep the the gossip down a bit. We have to be fair to Tiny and Clarabelle. Clearly, it is not a relation or a familial issue, so to speak. Keep in mind that, of course, they didn't have DNA and stuff like that back then, and certainly, there probably would be no way to derive if Tiny and Clarabelle were officially related. There was a bit of a rumor surrounding that. Oh, I like that gear shift. All right. I like that one better. There was a bit of a rumor surrounding things like that, but that stays pretty hush-hush around these parts. When you start talking family tree, yeah, you either better have something pretty good to back it up with, or just stay quiet. And you're probably better off just staying quiet, if I'm being honest. It's a sensitive subject, needless to say. Poor Tiny. poor Tiny. And and let's not draw any conclusions either from the fact that Clarabelle has not, taken off, and Tiny has. Tiny, that's his MO though with Tiny. Something goes wrong, he hits the hills. Gets bad news, he hits the hills. So that's kind of Tiny's fallback, is his tent up there. I believe it's in the south side of the county that he likes to vacate to. And I'll tell you, you don't want to go You don't want to go try and find him unless you're you make your presence very, very well known in advance, because he let's just say he's known to be a little bit quick on the trigger. In fact, I think old Bob Sherman that owns the pub downtown has a limp because he was gonna go surprise Tiny one day by taking him some of his distilled liquids, if you know what I mean, and Tiny caught Tiny off guard, and I don't think Bob's walked right since. Uh-oh. All right, I think it's a lot. Yeah, we ran right over it. Okay. These ducks don't get out of the way for nothing. Let's see if I can get my button. Yeah. I set up a little bit better button on my wheel for dumping this grass, because that default Control-I key setting that it's got gets a little bit annoying when you're trying to steer and hit Control-I on your keyboard. So I kind of like that single button routine. It's not bad. Beautiful out here though on the farm today, isn't it? Beautiful November. Crops are growing. I think we've got a pretty good start on our crops. I'll be curious to see what kind of yield we get out of them this time around, but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that our silage yield is going to be good as well. I think we're gonna see a pretty good silage yield this time around with this extra grass lot here. Got to start thinking about how we're going to invest our cash. You know, we do owe the bank. Of course, we're making regular payments on our bank balance, but it would be nice to get that. It would be nice to get that paid off, especially with the current happenings. There's been some discussions with Tiny's wedding being off. That oftentimes influences what happens with businesses in the county. The last big thing that happened with Tiny, his dog died. Quite sad, really. Quite sad. And he was in mourning for several months. Sadly, the bank closed during Tiny's mourning period. So everybody's money was, well, tied up. Couldn't get to it. So any money you had in the bank, you know, good luck, you know. And people tried to encourage Betty Luda to open the bank, even though she still claims that neither her or Tiny have any, you know, control over the bank. It's kind of hard to deny that when the bank was closed, specifically around the time that Tiny was mourning his dog's passing. Uh-oh. Come on, get some. Get some, Massey. Get some. Yeah, there you go, buddy. All right. Just got reminded of something, too. Somebody left a comment. I believe it was about fixing our tractors, and you are exactly right. We are going to have to spend some money on maintenance, because these things don't perform as well. Give that old Massey a good oil change. Man, for $200, that's probably more than the tractor cost back then. So yeah, we'll get a good oil change and some lube job on the Massey. Let's check our John Deere out here. Oh yeah, let's get that thing repaired. Paint is irrelevant, but we'll make sure we have we keep our equipment up to snuff. So my understanding is, excuse me, for the equipment, that it does perform worse if it is in need of. Am I getting any of this? that it actually does perform worse if you don't maintain it. Now, I know with the harvester or the combines, I don't think this is picking up at all over here. It's not. Oh, well. I know with the combines, it's either the header or the combine or both, that if you let them get pretty bad, your yield is going to suffer. That's at least my understanding of how that works, but I'm going to try and smooth this out just a little bit. Don't go in the wrong way, JD. There you go. Let's just try and get this pushed up a little bit. There we go. I can come in the other way too, but we've got quite a few loads to... Oh, you know what I could do? I forgot I had something. Let's go grab something. Kind of forgot I had. Whoa, don't, jeez, man. Stinking things don't look where they're going. We got this guy right here. Let's grab our back weight. If I don't make a mess out of it. There you go. Get some weight on the back end of this thing. Somebody else did comment, and maybe it was prior to me doing this, but they did mention to put the side panels, I think, on our trailer, which you can see I have done, so it definitely added some capacity to our trailer, which is pretty handy. Let's try and get this smoothed out just a little bit more. Just to make life a little bit easier for our... that... is that... what... This dude here loves the bunker silo. This rooster is like... lives in here. I don't know why, but he loves the stinking bunker silo. So what I'm hoping... kind of hoping for is we can expand our farm with get some land. I think that's going to be our biggest. I think that's going to be our biggest way. Excuse me, our biggest way of advancing our financial situation is to land up. So. Oh man, get out of this. Yeah, there you go. Walk right through the cement. There you go. So I think any money that we can scrap and save, I think probably our biggest benefit is probably going to be. How you doing on gas? How you doing? Okay. That's going to be our biggest thing, I think, is land, expanding our farm. Ooh, this guy's almost out of gas though. We gotta get some gas or a Massey. There is some land around here that is not owned by the Smalls. So I think that's where we'll start, and we'll have to just deal with, you know, maybe land contracts or something with them. They get a little bit finicky about selling their land. In fact, it's quite difficult to buy land from the Smalls. But they have been known to land contract, so we'll have to see how that goes. What's this going to cost us? Oh, that wasn't too bad. A few $100 to fill up the Massey. Now we don't have to worry about her. Not too bad. I thought it was going to be more than that. I like the sound of this Massey, though. I do like the sound of her. Where's the muffler on this guy? On the side? Yeah, she needs a wash, doesn't she? She needs a scrubbing. Maybe if we get to a point, it'd be nice to have some cash reserves as well for getting some hired help on here, because once we start expanding, we are certainly going to want to not have to deal with everything on our own. I really thought we were going to get lucky with this wedding that you know, Tiny even said, you know, he was so happy about the whole thing that he even offered to assist around the farm, but I think we can pretty much assume that's, you know, completely out of the question now. I would say that's definitely out of the question. Clarabelle is going to go back to teaching. I think she was going to try and be a stay-at-home mom. That was really weird because I'm not sure. Nobody really knew who she was going to take care of if she stayed at home. Tiny has never reproduced that we know of. Maybe they were planning on starting a family. I don't know. Clarabelle, certainly, you know, we don't know her true age, but we do know that, you know, if she was Tiny's kindergarten teacher, and even as much of an idiot that he is, he still made it through kindergarten at some point. People are assuming she's got to be in her 60s, you know, or early 60s. We also confirmed that the fact that Tiny used to call her mom, that was only out of a respect thing. It was not out of a biological thing. So that had a lot of people quite frightened as well. But apparently all of her students used to call her mom, so, you know, we can all rest easy. What are these two yahoos doing? Waddling back and forth. But we can all rest easy that that certainly is not a, as we know it, a familial mom thing. That is more of a sign of a show of respect and care to call Clarabelle mom. That's the story we're sticking to, at least. Let's see if we can get some good sound out of this thing. Let's listen up here. Downshifter. Oh yeah, I like that low. Oh, I like that low grunt coming from my old Massey. Now look at what suicide right there, right there. Just running right out in front of the tractor, and it's not like they can't hear it. Unbelievable. Try and scrape up some of these trimmings over here. So yeah, I tried to do as good a job as I could on this windrowing. It's not my favorite. Go inside here. It's not my favorite windrower, like I said, but once you get used to it, you can kind of make do. And it actually produced some decent windrows, I think. I think our grass take won't be too bad. I think we need to honestly consider plowing up this field and putting some real grass on this field. I don't know that we need to worry about it on our other field. We certainly could. But plowing in and of itself is going to be time-consuming and quite a lot of work. I may tackle that regardless, though, and now would be the time to do it. We got our fall/early winter cutting on this field, and now would probably be the opportune time to do it. We've got some cash, so we can afford to get it seeded and stuff, so maybe that'll be the idea behind this field. I think we'll probably, from a financial standpoint, that's probably the best money we're gonna get. I mean, this would make a nice field for anything, but I think grass into silage has proven to be a decent cash crop for us. So yeah, and don't forget we also have a baler. I think it's worth bunkering the grass instead of baling it. We don't have a wrapper, obviously, so we're stuck with either, you know, doing silage this way or just, you know, grass, picking up the bale. And I'll tell you, if we're going to just sell grass bales, I'd just assume we trailer it and sell it this way unless we want to store it. But that's looking pretty good, actually. I'd say 1 or 2 more trips on the far field here, we can start collecting some of this closer stuff. Hello, Mr. Rooster. Have to check our eggs and our bees, our honey. Was thinking about adding a few more bees onto our collection because I don't think we're not getting a lot of honey production from the relatively small amount of hives we have, so it might be worth doubling up our hives. Plus, I happen to know that Tiny is allergic to bee stings, and not that I am looking to harm Tiny, it just anything that you want him to not get his hands on, just put him over by the beehives, and you don't have to worry about it because he won't go anywhere near bees. And if you're wondering about Tiny's dog, it was a very sad thing. Again, very secretive, very hush-hush. We really never found out what happened in that situation. And if you valued your life at all, you didn't bring it up. Tiny had a very, very, very close relationship with that dog. In fact, I remember once I saw Tiny. He actually had found an old pram, an old baby stroller, and he had the dog in it. He was carting it around, telling people, you know, that that was, you know, well, you know, basically his kid. You know, a little bit weird. But now I've had dogs. I don't currently have dogs. I'm a big dog fan. I had a couple boxer dogs years ago. Now, Julius and Chloe. And I'll tell you, I didn't have any experience with boxers until I got Julius. He was my first one. And they are so much fun. They are an awesome breed. They're great with kids. They're a little bit exuberant, but all dogs are usually when they're puppies. But I can't speak highly enough of a dog breed, you know, than boxers. I think they're a blast. They're just goofy characters, but I love all dogs, you know. And dogs to me are, come on, baby. Oh no, let's dump some, see if Massey can get it. Come on, Massey. I'm not gonna let you give up on us. We'll get the John Deere out here to give it a push if we have to. Come on, baby. He doesn't want to go. I'm just roaching it at this point. Oh, it's Matt. Oh, it's stuck in high gear too. Let's see if I can I downshift it? No? All right. Stay there for a second. Don't go anywhere. Let's get some, JD. We got a stranded prisoner here, man. Let's get some. Oh, that's not going particularly well either. Let's see if I need another driver. Oh, John Deere is just getting it. Stay there for a second, buddy. Stay there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nicely done. we'll come back and get that situation straightened out here once we get our, I think, our last wagon load. Oh, suicide! Another goner. Jeez, man. So we don't really know about Tiny's dog. We do know that he had a deep, caring love for it. Sad thing, really. It was a mutt. It was not really of any particular breed. He claimed, you know, of course, knowing Tiny, you know, he was all about, like, that it was, that it had bloodlines of championship, champion bloodlines and how, and all this stuff, but we all knew the thing probably had 4 different kinds of DNA, well, I say DNA, but not really DNA, but 4 different kinds of animal in it, and some of them we figured probably may not have even been dog, but it was a good dog. It was a nice dog. It was a sad situation, no doubt. I'll see if I can grab a little bit more of this over here. Doesn't need to be perfect. We'll just grab what we can. I think we did pretty good. Let's grab this little chunk over here. I'm not going to be too finicky, and then we'll head back to our silo. Downshifter here, looking around a little bit just to see if I didn't miss any big clumps or anything. It doesn't look like it. So probably, like I was saying, it's probably our best bet for that field over there is probably just to get it dug up and let's plant some real grass and maybe see what kind of yields we get out of having, you know, some real field grass in there instead of this meadow stuff. All right, Mr. John Deere, I need you to clean this out for us a little bit. Not a lot. We can start coming in the other way with it, actually. But it'd be nice to have this just a little smoother. Try and get this thing leveled out for us. Maybe go down a little bit more with the bucket this time. Let's see how we're looking. I think we can manage that. I think if I start working the other end, we'll be okay. So I'm recording this episode like I normally do. Early, usually the weekend before, because it's a longer episode and I kind of like making sure I get this thing taken care of before the week starts. But just to talk a little bit about this new season pass and some of this talk about the DLC and things that Giants has shown off. Kind of excited, actually, you know, looking at them. I think it might be. I think year 2 might actually be, in some ways, better than the first year as far as DLC goes. I guess it all depends on, you know, where your interests lie. You know, for people who prefer logging and stuff, this has been a brilliant, you know, first year for Farming Simulator. You've gotten tons of logging equipment. You've gotten basically a logging map from Giants and, you know, all that fun stuff. But for those who logging isn't their forte, I think season 2 is going to be a little bit more. Boy, that's going to get ugly fast, isn't it? I think season 2 is going to be a little bit more interesting for the. I would just say the farming purists, maybe. You know. I think we can pretty much guarantee that. I'm going to leave you alone now. Back you out of here. I think we can pretty much guarantee that. We're going to get a new crop. It looks like carrots for sure. It also looks good that we're going to get baled corn. So that should be interesting. And along with these things, you know, there's always equipment that has to go along with it. Usually even oftentimes production facilities that have to be either updated or added to the game so that you can, you know, like carrots, you know, I'm assuming carrots will go towards, they could be for baking, you know, they could be sold directly to one of the supermarkets or what have you, but I think it'll be pretty interesting to see where that all goes. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see a new brand, excuse me, a new brand come into the game. That wouldn't be too surprising. That's one of my, personally, one of my favorite things when that happens. I love seeing new brands in the game. Especially when they add some unique equipment to the game. I think that's pretty cool. I was looking on YouTube at carrot harvesting. I didn't see a lot of it actually out there. Maybe I just didn't take enough time to look properly, but from what I did see, it kind of looked similar to like harvesting potatoes or something along those lines, you know, a root crop kind of thing. I think that'd be a lot of fun though, for sure. I'm not super familiar with corn husk. Is it corn husks that you bale? Are you kidding me? Seriously, Brad? Don't just pick it back up again. Let's lift you up. And let's dump you, because I picked you right back up again. There we go. So I'm not super familiar with... Oh, come on. No, Massey. Apparently I took the wrong way. This is where we need a tow chain. I guess we'll get them unstuck one more time. John Deere for the win. Yeah. Maybe I should switch over to the Deere with this as well. For pulling our wagon. Come on, Massey. Oh, is that? Oh, maybe. Let's turn that off and see if that makes a difference. I don't think it's going to. Nah, he's good and stuck. All right, we got to get the tow chain out. There we go. That did a better job. Nice. And of course, a lot of rumors around the map that will come out. I think, did I hear it was rumored to be Polish, a Polish map? I'm not sure if that was the right, if that was correct or not. It seems like that's what I heard. At least that's what the thought was, that it was going to be a Polish based map. Which, honestly, Polish maps that I've seen have been beautiful maps. Isn't that Polowa map that I did a quick run through one day on? Polowa, if you're looking for it. It's in the Giants in-game mod hub. That's a beautiful map, and I believe that is a Polish map as well. So, yeah, wouldn't be the worst news in the world, I guess. You know, I mean, the one thing I guess Polish maps are known for are, you know, they always have the long, kind of skinny, long fields. I wonder why that is. Is it just, it must just be the type of terrain in that area of the world, or is it just the way farmers, what they're used to working with? I don't know. I don't know why that seems to be a very commonplace thing, though, with Polish maps are the long strip fields. As opposed to, like, if you look at Canadian or American or North American maps, you see, you know, oftentimes you'll see more rectangular or square fields. We're getting a pretty good chunk of grass out of this here load this time. I'm pretty happy with it. I think we'll probably double our silage that we got last time, I think. All right, Massey, I need you to perform this time for me, please. Hit the gas, Brad. Get some. There you go. Nicely done. Nicely done. John Deere, I think, has got a little more torque to it. Either that or that trailer really makes a big difference when you're trying to get through here. We'll skid off to the side there. I'll have to get our bunker silo a little more cleaned up. Let's get you out of the way. So it'll be interesting to see when Tiny does return, what kind of mood he's in. I'll tell you what, if I'm outside and I see him coming with anything other than a bucket or a moonshine bottle, yeah, I'm heading indoors. I don't need any trouble, because you never know who they're going to blame either. You know, I mean, they've been known for blaming people for stuff that, you know, you've got nothing to do with, you know. And this blood test thing, it's going to go down into the history books, no question about it. But really, you know, I mean, I think we all know that Tiny's the one that lost out the most. You know, Clarabelle, well, I guess one could say, though, that might have been one of her last shots at love, you know. And you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, Brad. You know, just because blood test didn't work out and they can't legally marry, that doesn't mean, you know, they still can't date or, you know, that kind of thing. Well, you got to keep in mind, you know, in these neck of the woods and in this time of this date and time, it wasn't exactly popular for people to, oh, you got to be kidding me. It wasn't the most popular thing for people to shack up. So, yeah, I don't think we'll see that, even though, quite frankly, I think if we were to see that happen, it would definitely be tiny that would break that tradition or that, that thought, because who's going to, oh, come on. I turned you off, I thought. Oh, I hate that when that happens. Let's back it up a little bit. We'll just have to get the John Deere back in here to smooth this off. I turned you off. I know I did. Well, maybe I didn't. Well, all right. I think we're doing pretty good. I think I've got a bit more grass to pick up. And just the rest of this grass over here to pick up. Do we have an idea of what we got so far for 67,000 liters? Not too shabby. I'm not sure how much we have to add. I'm guessing there's got to be another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 or 6 trailer loads, maybe. We might be up in the 90,000 liter area. Maybe get to 100,000. Maybe not quite that much, but whichever. We'll definitely have a good chunk of silage to sell once this stuff's all fermented and done. The only other thing I mentioned too, like I said, we could probably add some more bees to our beehives. We are slow but sure. We're getting some honey production, but how much are bees? Just out of curiosity. Oh, not cheap. $1,100 for a hive. Okay, so definitely not as cheap as I had thought. Yeah, we might not be doing that anytime soon then. I know our chickens are pretty full. I don't think we can add any more chickens really to our... But they're doing all right with the eggs here. We've got 823 pieces, 225 kilograms. So we can definitely take an egg run here. How are they doing on food? I bet they're doing all right. We had them pretty well stocked up, I think. We want free-range chickens. Yeah, they're not doing too bad. Health is good. Food capacity's up there, so we're doing all right. Getting a couple dairy cows or something would be kind of nice, maybe. Man, we could also mow all this, I guess, if we really wanted to. I didn't even think about that. All of this could be mowed. But we better save something for the cows. But wow, this is a big lot that we can do anything we want to with, really. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if, there'd be no reason not to plow this up and make a field out of it. If we weren't going to do cows, it might be worth taking advantage of all this instead of just letting it sit here idle. We own all of this land. That's something to think about. Something to consider. I don't know if we'll ever get into cows on Old Family Farm. And if we do, we're certainly not going to have that many that will need all this. So maybe we'll have to think about that too. Lots to do, lots of plans. We'll see how far we can go with this thing, but I am loving this map. I've always loved this map and enjoyed this map. And I hope you all enjoy it as well. It's just it's a comfortable map. It feels like an old pair of jeans. It just fits well. You know what I'm saying? But hey, thanks everyone again for joining me on Old Family Farm. I do appreciate you taking the time to visit me on Thursday night. I'll be back Friday with back on Kubota Farm in East Vineland, New Jersey. I hope you can visit me then. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if the coin flips correctly. And hopefully I'll see you all real soon. Take care of yourselves. Let's make sure that we take care of each other. And I'll see you soon.